this opportunity. My name is John Hurley, and I'm presenting today. I'm the founder and publisher of Illume. I remember sitting in a small coffee shop in Oakland, California, waiting to meet a stranger, a journalist, and soon to be my editor-in-chief, who could perhaps offer some guidance into the media project I was about to launch. So we talked about telling stories. We talked about storytelling that has been used throughout history to preserve culture and to instill moral values within the community. And I wanted to tell stories that matter to Muslim Americans and those who wanted to better understand this emerging and still developing segment of society. So this is where Illume was born. In just 4 short years, Illume has been recognized as an award-winning organization, and it's the only Muslim media organization with a multi-platform model: print, web, online broadcast, and mobile. Illume has also been recognized as a global institution and one of the top 3 Western Muslim mediums. Headed by a staff of award-winning independent journalists, Illume stands alone in producing high-quality stories that tell the Muslim American experience. We provide an innovative platform that's fully engaged in the social web, giving readers a unique and compelling experience. This also allows us to intelligently connect advertisers and consumers. Our interview with playwright Wajahat Ali was selected as a finalist for a national award for Best Arts and Culture Story in North America by the South Asian Journalists Association. In that, Illume competed with NPR and the Financial Times. Also recognized on the list were such esteemed names as CNN, Mother Jones, Times Magazine, and the New York Times. So collectively, our team has many awards and distinctions, including the Peabody Award, the Emmy Award, and Society of Professional Journalists Award. Illume provides 2 very important benefits to the Muslim American consumer. It's a modern and relevant news and culture magazine that gives consumers an honest, fair, and unbiased view of the lives and the world around them. And it's also a primary platform that connects advertisers and brands with the Muslim American consumer. Our website has seen exponential growth, now reaching around 4 million readers. We offer more choices to our readers and advertisers, moving beyond the static notion of ink on paper. Our forthcoming digital apps offer an immersive experience, allowing us to tell multi-dimensional stories in real time, and allowing a multicultural audience to interact and advertisers to interact with the content on any screen or device. So Illume has been cited as a leading source of news information online alongside major mainstream media outlets. When a story breaks, our report is there to cover it. And it's reflected in high-profile trending keyword searches. Just last week, when you searched Juan Williams, we were the #1 result. So although Illume faces challenges as common to news media, the biggest being funding, I believe that these challenges are actually opportunities. Alternative media is thriving in this country for a variety of reasons. Our role is to deliver news and information, create and advance conversations, and shape views of the Muslim American community and the consumer. We provide a real-time storytelling platform, one that should be invested in, supported, and nurtured, resulting in an explosive platform that reaches a much broader audience than ever before, and one that the Muslim community, the consumer, and the advertisers have been waiting for. And with that, I'd like to conclude my presentation.
Okay, thank you. Where would you like to start?
Okay, go ahead.
Is this for profit or non-profit?
So that's something that we spent a great deal of time conversation with our management team. And you know, with the trend in journalism and media in the country, mainstream media is suffering, right? So what we've done is we have 2 arms. We have a nonprofit arm focused on education, and it trains journalists on the ground and gives them immediate access to a platform. And then the for-profit arm, which is the online, the print, the web, and the mobile that journalists can report on.
From a revenue, print versus web versus online versus mobile, how do they stack up against each other?
I think that, you know, to be an engaging platform, you have to be truly innovative. So you shouldn't discount any one platform. So that's why we have a multi-platform approach. With the print, what we do is we print an annual issue, and on the web we focus on daily reporting. We cover the news of the day. We cover investigative pieces. We have videos, and then with online, what we do is we syndicate the content to the mobile. So we'll have apps that will be released on the iPhone and the iPad platform in the next couple of months, and that takes from the web and publishes to the mobile.
So here you're among fans, but there's also a lot of opposition. You know, how do you end up taking the heat? Like Al Jazeera gets constantly under fire as if, you know, biased, this, that. How do you avoid being labeled as a biased Muslim mouthpiece versus an independent journalism and acceptance?
So we have a team of award-winning journalists that have real-time mainstream, extensive experience with mainstream media, and we have them working for us. And what we do is we present both sides. We like to cover all sides, and one of the things that I reiterate to my staff is there's at least two sides to every story. How many did you get? Right? So we try to cover all sides, and that lends to journalistic credibility.
But my comment on Al Jazeera wasn't that they are biased, but I said, how do you take the heat? Because that from outside come in kind of thing. So,
well, the type of content that we cover, we've taken heat from the Muslim community as well, because we have to cover stories in a way that create and further conversations, right? So we shouldn't, we're not afraid to cover stories that might make Muslims uncomfortable. Because as a community, we need to progress, and the only reason and the only way we can progress is by creating those conversations.
Thanks. Okay, Doctor.
I know, having touched on the revenue portion, readership. I mean, do you know what the percentage of readership between magazine and web?
So we have readership, print readership of about 100,000.
How much?
100,000.
100,000?
Yeah. And that's an annual readership. And the web, we're projecting 1 million readership for this year.
So you're doing about what, 9,000, 8,000 magazines a month? Is it a monthly magazine? Or?
It's an annual magazine.
Oh, it's an annual magazine, okay.
The print is annual.
Okay, and the web?
The web is daily reporting. So there's
okay, and what type of readership do you have on the web, or the following on the web?
So we have about 4 million readers on the web. Per year.
And so you really aren't relying much on the magazine, are you? Is the magazine, what does the magazine do for you guys?
It just creates an alternate platform that advertisers can engage. But as of this year, we're reviewing our focus, and our focus is purely web and ads.
All right. And you said you don't have any apps or anything yet. What you're showing here are these like
this is the iPad app. Okay. It's preview, but it'll be in market on January 1st.
And so now you said that there are times that the challenge is within the Muslim market. So is your core market the Muslim market?
We don't look at ourselves. We don't like to look at ourselves that although we primarily serve the Muslim market, we don't label ourselves as quote-unquote Muslim or Islamic media. We look at ourselves as minority media with an emphasis on the Muslim American community. And we've covered issues such as the Arizona immigration law, the oil spill, budget cuts to schools and childcare. So in that, that opens us up to a multicultural audience. So it's not just Muslims who are reading. It's not just Muslims who are reading this. And I can share a quote with you by one of our readers. He said, first of all, let me clarify, I'm a Christian. I come to the site and try to understand the Muslim community as best as I can. My opportunities are limited for dialogue, as I'm so far removed. I'm in Arkansas, and you can imagine that we only get what we see on TV. So I'm not even sure how I found this site, but I enjoy it very much. Illume serves as a great window where I can peer in on people that are in the midst of so much in the world.
So just one more question. percentage of, is it mostly national coverage or international coverage? I mean, would you consider yourself to be an international media, national media, local media? You know, which one would you define?
So primarily it's national coverage, and what we do is we take local stories and we nationalize them. So that doesn't mean that we don't cover local stories, but for the most part, when we're covering the story, you know, we nationalize the story.
I'll ask for 1 minute summaries from each of you.
Something on a magazine or media these days. You know, I think you know, I see a bit of a struggle on you truly defining what you're going after. What you would like to do is to become something, but I think I would find out. You know, I was on your site. I did notice that your site was a bit slow, so I would tell you that you need to look at that and compare to, let's say, CNN and some of the others. I mean, these are major players, but I think you have a lot of imagery on your website, and you're trying to show a lot, so it's very attractive, which is good. But it is very slow. It's taking a little while. You know how, you know, especially if somebody's checking it out, they want to go quick, see something. That's what we do. We go on CNN, something captures our imagination, we click it, and we stay there. So I think that's one thing that you should look at and you should address. Beyond that, you know, I mean, you got some challenges, and you know, you got a lot of competition and everything. So I think it's really going to be what you're reporting and the niche and the following you create. So I actually have not spent much time or heard anything about your entity before this. So I would actually spend some time on trying to have something that represents you, that people would go to your sites or to your media for. So maybe, I don't know, you know, like an anchor or like something, or like a certain reporting that is unique to you that no one else is doing, then it's easy to advertise. Otherwise, it's just a cluttered message. So I would encourage you.
I also like to say what I saw, what you presented, definitely interested me, although I had no idea it existed. So how do you reach out, and how do you let it be known? And maybe when people go and want to find more about Islam or Muslim community or something, if that does this pop the first page or not. And there's ways to do it, get it to the first page of Google or something like that, definitely have to do that. So awareness of the existence of this is very important. But you are approaching it properly in terms of the mobile, the online, web, especially those areas. Because since the print is once a year, if you have a conduit to the mobile, online, web to bring more people to the print side, I think it's going to work that way, because you can go to print and then come to the website. So creating website awareness and differentiating yourself as view of the Muslim, what they see about this, although as an independent reporter. I have done certain, not enough though, in terms of interfaith, and I'm so amazed how little people know about Islam. And with Islamophobia, I think works like yours are very valuable. Thank you.
Thanks. I'll open it up to your 3-minute Q&A. I will say that you're one of my favorite magazines in print. I've been online recently. You produce a beautiful, beautiful magazine. You have amazing journalists, professionals on your team, and of course your awards are extremely well known. So you know, keep up the good work, and inshallah, with that. You feel free to now have Q&A with any of the panelists.
The one question that I'd like to ask is, you know, what can you say in terms of funding options and funding sources that we can pursue? Because the biggest challenge has been to pursue funding. As a community, I feel that we're far behind in realizing the potential and the power of people. Right, as a Muslim community, you know, I've heard people complain all day that, oh, I don't like what I hear, I turn on the TV. But when you have your own media platform, how do we get that support?
I'd say that, first of all, look at what your model is. You have the nonprofit model and the for-profit model. Of course, the for-profit model, the investors that are going to look at that are going to be driven by reach. What's your subscriber base? How many eyeballs do you get online? And that's always a tough one when you're at the stage you're at. Whereas the nonprofit side of it is really more about how you're touching the point with the Ummah. And I would look at both Islamic and especially non-Islamic foundations. You know, I've done a lot of work with AIDS Foundation and other foundations. You'd be amazed how interested they are what's going on in the Muslim world. And so I would look at other foundations, not just Islamic, but certainly now you see throughout the Middle East a little bit more interest in trying to promote a different message of Islam, especially there's always a silver lining in every cloud. The cloud we've seen this year with all the Islamophobia has actually opened up opportunities for that as well.
You know, again, the supported part, the for-profit part, you just have to add enough business ingredients to the journalistic side. And some of it could be that you are the site. I mean, we heard today people that do website advertising or connect areas. You can be easily accountable to that path. And there could be a click fee or things like that. So even in healthcare now, we're charging per click fee because nothing's go digital. So digital media, if you can find the source of revenue internally, per click fee and routing information is makes it. And then the second one is if it is for the nonprofit part, absolutely, foundations are the way to go. But that's going somebody that knows the foundations.
So one of the things that we're doing, and we realize that the approach has to be on a macro and micro level in terms of reaching the consumer. So we have Illume as a national platform, and then we're going to be reaching out to market segments, regional and hyperlocal. And what we'll be launching in the near future is hyperlocal sites. I think maybe starting 2 to 3 major markets who are reporting on entertainment and foods to really open that up, and that really shows the whole concept of Muslims with the need to integrate, because we're already integrated in the community. So when we open up that space, that allows us to report on issues and just fun stuff, food reviews, whatever it is. But that will be inclusive of Muslim and mainstream outlets.
I'm just going to ask you a question. Also, in your website, I haven't been there, so I'm going to go check it out. Do you have a place that says if you like what you see, here's how you contribute?
Absolutely.
Okay.
That I'll be representing. I'd like to actually have a round of applause for all of the presenters on Obviously, they respect the sanctity that's in here because they expose themselves a little bit, so sort of like what you see here and Harry remains only here. And I'd also like to thank our panelists, Bami, Jim, and Thai for participating, and that ends our session today.
Thank you.